Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Nikhil this side. Just want to check if you guys are able to hear me clearly. Can you possibly type in the chat? Okay, I'm assuming that you guys are able to hear me clearly and also the screen is visible. Myself, Nikhil Prabhakar, and I'll be the host for this introductory session to the digital marketing program on behalf of Narsimunji. We have roughly 1 hour for this discussion. At any point of time, if you guys have any questions or queries or clarifications, feel free to put them in the chat or in the Q&A section, or you can raise your hand and I'll give you the mic so you can speak about your question. So let's get started over here. Just want to confirm once again, can you guys type in the chat if you guys are able to hear me clearly? I'll just type a hello in the chat. All right, we have close to, okay, Shruti saying yes. All right, great. Thanks, Shruti. So let's get started over here. Let me introduce you formally to this digital marketing program. And this is kind of roughly created for, as you can see on the screen, for powering tomorrow's digital leaders. So if you look at the context of, let's say, this overall digital marketing program, possibly some of you would be already coming from a marketing background. Some of you want to switch into a marketing module itself, or let's say a career path. In both these scenarios, you have to pick up certain concepts and probably practice a few things before you kind of shape up yourself as a leader in the digital marketing domain. So this is the overall context. And before I kind of introduce you to the module, I'll quickly introduce about myself. So for me also, I've been in the marketing domain for around 14 plus years now. I did my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, passed out in 2013, and have been working across different areas of marketing. Digital is one of them, offline as well, and have worked in multiple geographies, India, Europe, and for some time in Southeast Asia and Middle East as well. So these are some of the things which I'll also try to kind of get something from my practical experience, which you can grasp from this digital marketing program. And otherwise, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to forward. Now, if we kind of first look at the digital marketing context, you should always start with why you're kind of aspiring for something. So over here, if you look at the context, especially after COVID-19 pandemic, I think all of us can realize that digitization is something which is kicking in. And this is the trend not only in India, but across the globe. We have organizations picking up the digital acquisition for their customers. At the same time, you have a lot of kick in for digital marketing activations. Roughly the digital ad spending, which is across the globe, has picked up quite fast. If I talk about the context in India, you will find that television, like all of us would realize, is the area where most of the marketing budgets are spent. But on the second spot, now we have digital marketing. And that is why there is a lot of demand for maybe skilled professionals who can kind of contribute with their conceptual clarity, as well as maybe something which is practical, can be implemented towards the industry. So some level of understanding of various digital marketing activations is something which the industry is demanding. This is where this program is also kind of roughly structured. You have interactions with people who are representing the industry. You have people who are coming from the academic background to clear up the concepts. And overall, you'll find that across industries, there's a good amount of traction as far as digital marketing roles are concerned. Probably if you're kind of creating your own career path, you'll find that there are enough opportunities and pretty exciting ones. Probably you can combine the digital marketing aspects with the offline aspects, and then maybe even think of starting something on your own. So this is something which I did for myself. Currently, I have my own startup, but I did enjoy this part of digital marketing opportunities which are available. Let me also mention about some of the challenges which people generally face, and especially for all of you guys, when you're trying to kind of aspire for a digital marketing domain, or you're kind of going into a program, generally what I have observed is these are the challenges with most of the digital marketing programs. Irrespective of which one you pick up, you need to first of all pick up the tools which the industry is using. Generally, there is lack of strategic thinking. Generally, on the industry side, you will find that marketing is a function which almost everyone believes that they understand and they can do marketing. But trust me, from my own personal experience, first of all, people who have some kind of sales background, they are very good with marketing. Secondly, some people have a knack of marketing skills, which probably either can be developed through the programs, or maybe you have a particular bent of mind. In any case, strategic thinking is something which is required. And this is where just kind of attending any digital marketing program won't help much. We need to have the structure which industry is demanding. There is also the content which needs to be updated, which probably the industry again is looking at. There are frequent changes, and possibly over here at Narsi Munji, we have been trying to kind of get as much close to the industry demands as possible. There is also quite a repository which is absent in most of the digital marketing programs. So this is again a challenge. Probably you need something which you can access through your lifetime. This is generally a challenge with most digital programs. And possibly when we start, we need to be clear of with the fundamentals. So sometimes fundamentals are being covered, but the application part is missing. These are some of the challenges which generally people face, not only in the digital marketing programs, even if you are trying to learn something on your own, maybe through online content or YouTube videos and so on and so forth, you'll find that there needs to be a structure to understand digital marketing better. This is where probably I'll bring in Narsi Munji's the global MBA program, or let's say the digital marketing program, or any small module which is focused on an area of digital marketing. Let's talk about why kind of you can look forward to something like NMIMS Global. First of all, it's a reputed brand. It's an institution which has been demonstrating excellence. So let me just talk about some of the accolades which are already there, or achievements which are already there. To look at the credibility part, there are 8 campuses which are being run across India. Approximately 17,000 plus campus students are kind of live at any point of time. There are good amount of faculty coming from the industry side, as well as people who are probably live working from in the industry environment. Roughly 750 full-time faculty, and then there are a lot of people. For example, in my case, I'm a visiting faculty with Narsi Munji, taking part in their marketing programs, in the digital marketing programs. So there is quite some representation which is there from various aspects of digital marketing. Probably there are 18 multidisciplinary schools across, let's say, management, commerce, engineering, and technology. So generally, people who are participating in the programs come with different bent of mind, possibly moving towards a similar goal, which, for example, for you guys, you would try to establish yourself in the career of digital marketing. Probably if you look at, let's say, some of the experience for the institution, there is roughly an existence of 4 decades of experience, which is there with Narsi Munji. This is ranked as one of the top 100 universities by NIRF. And probably it's most of the programs are grade plus programs. So probably from the credibility point of view, you have a lot of things which industry recognizes. Let's also look at some of the, let's say, programs which are being run. So first of all, there is a lot of digital presence, because you can see after the pandemic, even before the pandemic, Narsi Munji was running a lot of programs which are digitally driven, completely online driven. Possibly if I talk about some, Narsi Munji has been established roughly as the top EdTech university. And of course, there are various programs as niche as possible, or maybe as broad for an understanding for building for participants who want to kind of get into marketing, or people who already are experienced in the marketing side. So over here, if I talk about the programs, these are some of the programs which are mentioned on the right-hand side. There is a MBA WX program for generally for working professionals. If you want to kind of scale up in the marketing domain itself, or any particular area of management. There are programs with respect to some of the new industry trends. There is an application of artificial intelligence, by the way, in marketing as well. We discuss about those aspects in specific modules. Also, we try to bring in some of the areas which are good from digital marketing perspective. There are programs across commerce, business administration, the professional diploma in digital marketing, which I'll talk about shortly. And then there are other programs which are kind of there in the domain of analytics, certificate programs, or diploma programs. I'll talk about them shortly. Now, over here, if I also look at the rough base of students which are enrolled, it is kind of a massive size, 1.25 lakh enrolled active students. There are, okay, so, all right. So over here, roughly, I think I just got a ping that there are a lot of people who are kind of joining from LinkedIn Live. So thanks to you guys as well. If I talk about a lot of people coming from different industries, you all have some application of digital marketing, which almost every industry is picking up. So there is something which all of us can, if we are interested, we can pick up and probably try to shape up from our career perspective. If I talk about some of the edge for the institution specifically, if we look at Narsimunji's global forte, there are quite a few institutions which probably would be on the same footprints. Otherwise, over here, one of the India's top 10 B schools, Narsimunji is well recognized amongst them. There is a massive alumni base of close to 25,000 alumni which are well connected. Probably when it comes to finding or cracking a career opportunity, networking is something that people do look at. Even if you're attending any kind of a online program, not just let's say the digital marketing program over here. There are students who are joining generally from 650 plus locations across India, and because the things have been online, this is one good aspect, which is we can make the effort quite democratic. People can participate from any place and at your convenience. If you also look at some of the brands that the program participants are already working, or those of the people who have earlier joined the program, there are companies across different sectors which have picked up people in various roles. I'll talk about the roles as well shortly. But if you look at generally the participation is quite high from IT sector, and you can see these days IT sector is one of the booming sectors for Indian context. It has always been, but over here there is a lot of recruitment these days in the IT sector. So that also kind of boils down to digital marketing as well. Some popular names are like Infosys, IBM, Wipro, TCS, and so on and so forth. If we talk about the manufacturing aspect, now there is a lot of demand in manufacturing, especially after almost 1.5 years of lull after the COVID-19 pandemic. Now things are kind of coming back. There are a lot of people who want to get into, let's say, the financial sector. So banks and NBFCs both, they have recruited for digital marketing. And even you'll find that a lot of applications open on LinkedIn as a platform itself. There are certain skill sets which are required, and there is some level of conceptual understanding that you need to pick up in a digital marketing program. Through that, probably you can prepare yourself. I think there are a lot of people these days who are interested in IT or the banking sector. Telecom, I think you already would be aware about the major names. Jio has been a massive entry, and they have been hiring aggressively, along with Airtel, Vodafone, and Idea. In e-commerce, as India moves towards e-commerce, there is a lot of pickup among the startup verticals, especially, let's say Amazon and Flipkart. But there are other companies as well which have generally hired from the digital marketing program aspirants. Other important sectors, probably if you want to look at, these would be something in the domain of infrastructure. This is one area where companies have recruited from as digital marketers, and also the pharma sector. Probably if you look at overall, it actually boils down to the skill set that you are bringing, the kind of application that you can put in for the industry. And from there on, I think you're free to move across different sectors with the help of digital marketing skills. Let me also talk about, let's say, the curriculum and the way the program is kind of structured. So first of all, the digital marketing programs from NMIMS Global are powered by a platform called as Stuken. So this is kind of a very well-structured online platform that has been developed. And over here, you'll find that you have quite a good resource base for learning on your own, at your own pace, on the go, in support of the lectures and the other sessions which are kind of discussed. So over here, the content is quite from the industry perspective. There are also tools which have been developed. There are recordings of the sessions available. So you can probably, if you missed, I think there might be people who would be working professionals. And if you kind of want to take the sessions at your own pace, at your own convenient time, This is where the platform like Stuken comes into picture. So this has been designed for based on the need of the participants. Also, one good thing which particularly I find it interesting as well, even when it comes to teaching or myself enjoying the part of some of the digital marketing concepts, there are certain simulations which have been developed. We call them as Stuken real world simulations. And these are based on, let's say, a company is in a particular situation or a startup is in a particular situation, and then you enter as a marketing person. How would you kind of work on various aspects? So, for example, paid search marketing in the domain of digital, or social media marketing, or how would you handle the analytics part? So this is how we have kind of divided these simulations. Simulation is a real life learning scenario where you have to kind of input some of the data based on your thought process. So you are kind of building a strategy. And then on the basis of that, probably the simulation is going to give you the result. So here it's kind of a practical learning on the go. It's just like playing a game. So this is something which have been developed for almost all the topics, which I'll kind of also discuss about shortly as a curriculum for digital marketing program. But this simulation kind of really helps, especially those people who are coming from non-marketing background or your first time stepping into the marketing, digital marketing aspects. Some of the things which are kind of supporting, let's say, the accelerated learning process, or how can you pick things faster? First of all, over here, there are real life examples, probably in every format, whether it is text, presentation, video, or maybe a general discussion while the sessions are going on. People learn when they discuss. So that is kind of a thrust area, which we kind of try to adopt in the sessions for the digital marketing program. There is a student zone which have been kind of created, which is kind of desktop or a mobile application. You can interact with other participants. There is more mutual learning which can happen beyond the sessions or the program itself. So this is where it can really benefit the accelerated learning part. There are people who also come with some kind of an industry experience. They can share their learning with other group members or the batch members. That also enhances the learning process. Same thing applies for the faculty. There are also, let's say, renowned academicians that Narsimunji has been trying to reach out to, and also, let's say, from industry perspective. So there are people from marketing teams of different companies which would interact with the digital marketing program participants. And the curriculum is kind of in the global context. So not only you apply that concept in Indian market, but across different geographies, even if you want to have an ambition of working outside India. And these days, there are sufficient amount of openings, especially in Canada, for example, at least what I'm aware of. Europe, in certain pockets also, there is a demand for digital marketing, and otherwise, US is the open market. If you also look at, let's say, some of the programs, how things are structured or what you can expect. So these are the certificate programs which have been created. There are specific domains. For example, if you want to get into search engine marketing, probably you're looking forward to a certificate program in search engine marketing. Similarly, for social media and content, there is a separate program. Then there are some people who will be very good with numbers, or you would want to kind of get into digital marketing analytics or business analytics. This is where the certificate program in digital marketing analytics comes into picture. Then you can also combine the two core modules to create a certificate, which is kind of combining the learning from both the modules. So you can combine these three core modules to get a certificate for both of them. Or you can have a professional certificate in digital marketing or a professional diploma in digital marketing. Now, the timeline, the content, and the credits for the sessions or these certificate programs, they vary. So let me kind of introduce those inputs for you guys. If I talk about, let's say, the first module, which is search engine marketing, let me give you some industry side context. So if I take you back to my first job after I passed out from my MBA program, this is where when we started working in the digital marketing domain, I was working for a company called Gulf Oil International, based out of London. And we were supposed to kind of increase the website traffic. Okay? So this is the context where, let's say, a company has a website. We need to increase the website traffic. So this is where the first effort which a company makes, whether a large company or maybe a small startup, or maybe a mid-sized company, we kind of look at search engines. So this is a high demand and very intensive, concept which is required for almost anyone if you're trying to start with digital marketing. Especially if you're going to work in a startup, there is a huge application of search engine marketing, specifically the paid search engine marketing, or let's say the other aspects. For example, here some top jobs have been listed. So you work in search engines from the marketing perspective, like Google, Yahoo, Bing, and so on and so forth. The idea would be, as a digital marketer, you should be able to understand how you can use these search engines for promoting your business, whether it's online business, offline business. How can you use search engines? And some of the top jobs which industry is kind of looking at are SEM manager. So generally you'll find that in large digital marketing teams, there would be one person who is dedicated to the search engine marketing domain itself. There can be something called as a SEO analyst or expert. SEO stands for search engine optimization. On search engines, you can work in two ways. Either you will do paid marketing or you will do organic marketing. Organic is basically without spending any money. Can you get traffic to your website or mobile app? Can you drive customers to buy some products from you without spending any money on search engine? That is the SEO aspect. Then there is a role called as digital marketing executive. Generally, this is where you try to pick up some of the aspects on SEO, SEM, and other areas. Broadly, these are some of the industry terms or roles which you will find across sectors. Probably a lot of application is there in the financial services these days, and also in the IT sector. If you want to look at the key skills which are required, and maybe some of you would be already having some level of marketing experience, or you would have gone through a previous module on marketing. In that case, over here, the focus is entirely on the digital marketing part. There is something called as on-page and off-page SEO. So the search engine optimization is kind of divided into two parts. We discuss about both of them in detail and try to look at the applications of how you can use it for a company in any context. There are also certain tools that we kind of look at in the digital marketing program with Narsimunji, that, how can these tools be used by industry to make the life of the marketing team easier? And how can we achieve the business goals faster? There is something called as landing page optimization. So over here, the idea is that as a digital marketing person, you should be able to tell which website is better designed, or what are the improvements which can be done in a website, on a mobile app, or any digital asset. Okay, so this is where some design principles need to be kind of understood. These are some of the key skill sets which you keep on picking up in the module. Then there is a backing of email marketing. So email, SMS, and these days WhatsApp, these are very core components. Every digital marketer would pick up these pieces. These are easy pieces. When you learn search engine marketing, probably you will back it up with some level of email marketing, some level of SMS marketing, and this will help to get you better shape from the industry perspective. There are also display ads, and some people enjoy the display ads pretty much as compared to, let's say, the other Google ads or search ads. So over here, what happens is you're going to design, let's say, a banner, and you have to run that ad at the right place. So maybe, let's say, if we talk about promoting a stock market demat account, maybe Money Control is a website, or Economic Times is a website where you want to run your display ads. So you pick up this skill of which kind of ad should be run, where it should be run, and how this ad should be structured. This is a skill which is a very important skill in the lifespan of a digital marketer. In fact, we learn a lot of things as we kind of go in that direction. But the concepts is something which is introduced in the module. There are also certain new trends which are shaping up. For example, if you're going to work in US market, there is already something called as programmatic buying, which is happening. It happens via Facebook and Google also to some extent, but there is a big market for programmatic buying, which is kind of developing in Indian context as well. We kind of try to touch base on this in the module. Website architecture is something which almost everyone has to learn. whether you are coming from a tech background or a non-tech background, what we should understand is how a website is built, what is the meaning of a domain name, how a website is created in HTML. From the marketing perspective, what do we need to know? Is there a software through which we can build a website? These are few things which you should have the answer. So these are some of the key skills which are required in the module. Any kind of written or verbal communication skills which adds to your digital marketing profile. This is something that you can expect being discussed in the search engine marketing domain. And also, let's say specifically, a lot of money is spent by marketers, let's say in the Indian context or outside India as well, on Google. So Google, in fact, Google's as a search engine, most of the revenue that Google generates for their company itself is coming from advertising. So you can understand that probably we need to learn about Google Ads. These are certain things that we discuss in the search engine marketing module. Now, any questions on SEM or this first module or anything that we have discussed so far? If you have, you can mention it in the chat, or you can mention it in the Q&A, or you can talk about it. Otherwise, let me take you through the second module, which is also a very popular topic, which let's look at just next, the social media part. Now, I'm sure that all of you guys would be using social media. Maybe if you look at the biggest social media platform, probably you guys will quickly name it that's Facebook. But if I ask you, which is the next one, probably there'll be some level of confusion, but maybe some people will still crack it. And you will say that, okay, this is YouTube is at the next spot, and then so on and so forth. Now, basically what happens in this module, social media marketing, is for any company or a business, as a social media marketing person, you should be able to design a strategy of how we should use which social media platforms for the business, which will be cost effective, and then also we can reach out to our customers. So this is the challenge which is kind of addressed in module B, which is social media marketing. So here we kind of first study all the platforms. I'm sure that now you guys would have already have your own personal accounts on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, or maybe Quora, LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. But you'll find that having a personal profile is much different from handling maybe a business profile or a business page. In fact, for running paid marketing on social media, also there are good amount of budgets which are being spent by the industry side. There are influencers also which are there prominent on social media. So we discuss about those aspects in a structured way in this module of how can we use social media marketing for a business. And if you go to the industry side, some of the top jobs which probably I would say that people enjoy is being a social media marketing person or a social media manager, where you are kind of looking at, you're handling a team of a few people, or depending on the size of the company, maybe a larger team. Here you are trying to devise a strategy of how can you grow the business using social media. Another role which is picking up these days is content marketing manager. Now, this content marketing manager is a very interesting role if you are kind of trying to get into the creative side of things. So some people, they are very good with the creativity part. Okay. For example, in my case, I'm very good with the analytics part or logical side of things, but I'm not that creative a person, but maybe you can be. Okay. So if you're a very creative person, if you can come up with very fresh ideas, if you can generate something which is very interesting, then content marketing manager does that task on the industry side. And here your role would be, how can you use maybe text, videos, images, how can you combine them and create a story for your brand or for your business? This is something which is the communication that could go on social media, maybe other platforms as well, apart from social media, maybe search engines as well. But this is something which is the content marketing manager's role. And there is a lot of demand in the industry for this. So if you're a writer, or if you have a own blog of yourself, then probably you already have some level of skills over here. You can take it forward from there. Or probably if you have created your own profile on Instagram or any social media page, and it worked really well, then probably you have a knack of creativity. Probably you can make it your career as well. There's also something called as social media analyst. For example, people like me, I'm very much a numbers person. So over here, if you enjoy the part of feeling the numbers and growing businesses, then social media analyst is the role for you. And lastly, influencer marketing manager. You'll find that there are so many influencers these days. We have a young demographic in India, and almost every domain, whether it is foods, travel, or anything, you have some influencer that people are following. So how can you reach out to some of the prominent influencers, take the help of these influencers to grow your business or grow your brand or do a win-win situation? So over here, roughly in this module B of social media marketing, what you can expect is you have a very good understanding of the social media platforms, what kind of paid advertisements you can run on these social media platforms, how do you run video ads, image ads, text ads on social media, what is the costing of these ads. Okay, these are certain important things that we need to understand. Similarly, I forgot to mention in the previous module, in the search engine one, we discuss about Google AdWords, let's say, as a tool, and we look at how much money is spent on Google ads for running your advertisements in a particular domain, whether search or display. Roughly here in this module, you're also picking something called as personal brand management. So when you know how to use social media for business, obviously you'll know it, how can you use it for yourself. So sometimes you can also try to become an influencer in some interesting area that clicks for you. So these are certain things that you can pick up from this social media marketing module, apart from, let's say, influencer marketing, content strategy, or social media analytics, the metrics part. Let's look at the digital marketing analytics. Now, over here in the last module B, what we had looked at is the social media part and some of the social media analytics. Okay, so here the analytics was focusing on social media. But if you're kind of getting into module C, the digital marketing analytics, here you are grooming up yourself for a role in the analytics or a business analytics industry itself. Probably Amazon is one such company that is coming to my mind. They have a huge team of business analytics or digital marketing analytics people. Here, your idea would be not just pick up social media analytics, but any kind of analytics. So if you're working in a company, which are the tools which should be used in the company for monitoring what is the business progress? How should they be kind of used to scale the business? What kind of combinations should be used? Should we go for, let's say, getting a tool on subscription, or should we create a tool for ourselves? Should we work entirely on Excel? Should we get a CRM platform or a customer relationship management system? Then which are the popular tools for that? These are the things which probably you can expect to be discussed in the digital marketing analytics module. Especially, I would say that if you're coming from a tech background, for example, IT sector, and if you want to remain in the IT sector itself, then this is an opportunity area for you. Similarly, those of you who are planning to work in e-commerce, this is also an opportunity area for you. Digital marketing analytics, there are a lot of roles, especially in the startup or new age businesses that they are picking up. If you're good with data, probably this module will bank on that. So how can we visualize the data? Is there any tool which can help it beyond Excel? How can we use that? Probably look at what kind of measurement models can be used for effectively using the data. How to monitor a website, how to monitor a mobile app, how to monitor a social media page. Is it performing well or not? How to monitor the entire marketing team itself. So these are certain things which are kind of discussed in the module C or digital marketing analytics module. And from here onwards, if you look at the next piece, probably you want to shape up and be the leader. Okay, so over here, you're trying to, probably you have an understanding of all the basic concepts in the three areas that we discussed, search, social, and analytics. Now you want to kind of scale and build the digital marketing strategy. So over here, this is a role which is kind of shaping for, let's say, the futuristic perspective. So if you're a person who's kind of aware of what are the emerging trends which the businesses are using, how can we use them to the advantage for our business as well as to shape up our career? And this is where roles like digital marketing manager, digital strategist, or digital brand managers is kind of roughly picking up. In this module, what we discuss is, first of all the basic concepts of search, social, analytics from the broader perspective. instead of deep diving into everything, we try to pick up something from every area and try to groom ourselves. How can we use this to drive a team? Okay, so this is the task, especially if you're kind of going for senior management roles. If you're trying to groom something, yourself into a role which scales up into a digital marketing strategy, then this is something which is for you. Over here, we discuss about how can we use marketing automation, which is the tool industry is already using. What else can be done using technology? Can we use, for example, chatbots, or should we stick to machine learning? Should we use big data? Those are the things which are kind of roughly discussions. And in the process, you kind of pick up the skills which are required on the business side. There is also over here an industry project. The project will be a study of an organization's overall digital marketing strategy. So this is kind of a live project. You select a particular industry, maybe an organization, and then we try to discuss about what is going right, what is going wrong, what are the opportunities, what can be done better by the company from a real life perspective. So over here, you roughly get a sense of what exactly are the problems which businesses face beyond the academic discussion that happens in the institutions. So that is the idea of the module D. And now if we club them all together, this is how the programs look like. Now, you can actually prepare yourself to choose a program which fits in with your career plans or fits in with your professional aspirations. I'll quickly brief you about them. So 3-month certificate program is, let's say, for each search engine marketing, social media, or digital marketing analytics, you can roughly have 3 months dedicated. So if you pick up search engine marketing, it's a 3 months marketing program for a certificate one. You can combine 2 areas to have a dual specialization, a 6-month certification program, or you can kind of combine them, combine 3 of or all of them and get a professional certificate in digital marketing. So here you are kind of looking at all the aspects, and you can scale it up to 12-month diploma program, which is kind of a professionally recognized one. You have a professional diploma certificate that you kind of understand the various aspects of marketing, and probably you are grooming yourself to be a digital marketing leader. Okay. So this is roughly the structure of the program. It's pretty simple to understand. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put forward in the chat, or you can talk about it. Okay. If I talk about the 3-month certificate program, these are the 3 areas: the search engine marketing, social, and digital marketing analytics. These are the 3 things which industry is also expecting. If you look at the 6 months, you can have any combination. So you combine as per your, let's say, interest levels or something that you feel would be good for your career aspirations. If you look at the 9-month, here you're kind of combining all the 3 a month programs of SCM, social, and digital marketing analytics. If you look at the 12-month diploma program, here you also spend 3 months on the topic of how to combine the learnings from the first 3 modules and create a digital marketing strategy. So how can we scale things up? Once we have a fair understanding of all the components, how can we use that component to drive maybe a company or a business from the digital marketing strategy perspective? Okay. So this is something which is the overall 12-month diploma program. You can choose your program to power yourself the best, probably any combination that you feel stands out for you. You also have the flexibility that you can talk to faculties, you can talk to peers, get a fair idea of what you're getting into, and learn on the go, and then keep on making your decisions. Okay, so this is something which is there from the perspective of the modules. Let me also tell you about some quick digital learning outcomes of these digital marketing programs. Probably the marketing strategy, especially for those who are coming from non-marketing backgrounds, we pick it up from scratch. We look at all the frameworks which are used in a very simple language from industry examples and applications. So we all get to the same page. Then we get specifically into various areas like search engine optimization or paid digital advertising on search engines, on social media. How can we understand about influencers? What is the role of these influencers in the digital marketing today? Try to have an understanding and practical know-how of the tools. For example, some of the tools that I'll name are Google Analytics. You should be able to know how can you use Google Analytics for monitoring a website. We see some live demos, and we get a hang of it. Then you can practice on your own. Similarly, let's say Facebook marketing. You see some live accounts and then you practice it out, learn the concepts, apply it to get a better idea, get a better hang of the unit economics. Same is true for, let's say, the marketing automation part. So for example, let's say there is a popular tool called as HubSpot, which the industry is using, or let's say Marketo, Salesforce. These are some industry tools. We discuss about what tool is effective for which type of a company. So we get even if, let's say, we have never discussed about, or we have never learned about any tools, or we have never used them, we get a fair understanding of how to pick up the right let's say tools, and how can we use them in a very simplistic way. These are the career opportunities which I could gather together. So over here, from my personal experience as well, there are these roles which are in demand. Okay, so for example, if you understand search engine marketing pretty well, SEM is the area which a lot of companies are hiring for. Otherwise, the organic part, SEO, people also combine both the aspects to become maybe a digital marketing manager. Analytics is also, by the way, a very important area in a lot of e-commerce and IT or the tech companies. Okay? So this, the analyst or the digital marketing analyst is a growing role as well. Particularly, you'll also come across something called as performance marketing expert. So if you understand in how much money, what can be accomplished for a business or a company, then this is where probably you're grooming yourself for a performance marketing role. Companies like Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, Oyo, Ola, these are the companies which generally hire performance marketing experts, and similar companies. There are also people who kind of get into digital brand managers role. So if you're good with content marketing, then probably you are grooming yourself in that shoes of the digital brand managers. Overall, there are sufficient level of opportunities, and it's not that we'll pick up everything. Maybe we make a start and then it happens on the go. At least for me, it happened like that. I started in the branding area and then slowly got into the offline marketing and then online marketing, and then went to be the marketing head. And over here, everyone has their own journey. Also, I'll tell you about the eligibility criteria. So fairly a simple one. 10 plus 2 from a recognized board, or SSC plus 2 years of experience is what you would need to have for any of the programs that we kind of discussed. If you also look at, let's say, the fee details, these are the fee details, which is very simplistic over here. Let me tell you about the 3-month certificate program. So in the 3-month certificate program, you pay the entire fee at one go. It's kind of a bullet payment. Full program fee, one-time payment, 27,500 plus GST. And you choose which certificate program you want to go for, search, social, or anything else. Okay, the digital marketing analytics, for example. Then when you're combining to get a 6 months certificate program, over here, you are going to roughly either make a bullet payment of 52,500 plus GST, or otherwise you pay by the term. So there are going to be 2 terms over here of 3 months each. So one time you pay for the first term and then you pay for the second term. Okay, that will be 27,500 plus GST, and then it progresses for the rest of the programs. 9-month certificate program, either you pay term wise or you pay for one-time payment, and same applies to professional diploma program. Either over here you have a term wise fee which is 27,500. Over here, this is inclusive of the GST, or GST is not applied. This is inclusive of the GST. And if you make a full-time payment, this is 99,000, which is kind of inclusive of the GST. Okay, so this is the fee structure that you can that is fairly transparent, and you can have a good idea of that. Now, over here also, if I talk about how we are trying to kind of make this journey a very, let's say, interesting, at the same time, a learning curve, which should be from the practical experience. So there are lectures which are there in any session, any kind of a program, but there are internal assessments which are on some practical questions which the industry faces. There are term and examinations which are conducted online, and you get a sufficient hands to test the concept that you have learned. There are certain exam policies in place that you will learn more about when you're enrolling for the roles, and these are done in a way that you get a feedback on where did you go wrong, where did you go right, and that's the way we kind of grow our understanding. This is the overall aspect of this. And if you look at the lectures, so live sessions will be conducted generally on the weekends itself. So mostly people are joining from the industry, so the sessions have been kept on weekends, generally Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday second half or Sunday first half. The duration of a session is roughly 2 hours. There might be a break of 5 minutes here and there in between, so that participants freshen up. There are 12 weeks per term, so every week you are kind of having sessions on Saturday and Sunday. Okay? This is how, let's say, the module is for one certificate program of 3 months. If we look at also the, let's say, modules 1 to 3 and module 4, which is about the digital marketing strategy, if you're kind of combining all of them, this is how you can roughly look at the overall lectures schedule. So week 1, generally Saturday, Sunday, is session, first 2 sessions. In module 4, if you're going for the digital marketing strategy part, the module 4 follows a different structure. Over here, you have 3 sessions combining Saturday, Sunday. So that is where over here some time has been kept so that people get to work on a project, a live industry environment. You get a project orientation for that. You prepare for the project, submit it, get the feedback, and get an idea of whether your recommendations were kind of good to go for the industry or not. So that is how you get a real life learning and a feedback which can be constructive. Now over here, apart from this, roughly, if you see the broad timelines, quarter 1 is search engine marketing. If you are going for the diploma in digital marketing module, so quarter 1 search engine marketing is where you start. Once you pick up the basics, this is where you feel confident that probably there is a lot of opportunity in search engine domain itself. Without spending any money, a company can scale up a lot of efforts in digital marketing. Then we move to the paid part of search engine marketing. Then you move to quarter 2, where same things are kind of discussed on the social media and content marketing space. Now, how can we use social media and content in the current marketing environment? Then we learn about the analytics, and then we learn about how to combine them all in the diploma program. Okay? This is the overall structure for the diploma. And if you look at the credit structure, 8 credits for each module. Overall, it comes to 32 credits. So this is something that you're kind of trying to score for. If we look at the evaluation part, so internal assessments are roughly carrying 30 marks. So over here, the first, there are 2 assessments which are based on the sessions itself, what is discussed in the session. And then this carries roughly 30 marks. Then you have a term and exam where it carries 70 marks. So a lot of weightage is there on this part. Overall, 100 marks is what you kind of score. The breakup of the internal assessments is you have multiple choice questions which test the concept, and detailed questions which kind of helps you to get an idea of the understanding of application of those concepts. So roughly, this is how you can expect, let's say, the exam structure and the outlines of the assessment part. If you look at the evaluation from the overall perspective, let's say quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4 for the diploma part, each module that we kind of discussed earlier carries on 100 marks. So overall, you're kind of scoring 400 marks. You appear in internal assessment mandatorily. This is important. Overall passing criteria is 50%, and there is no individual passing criteria for IA and TE. So overall, there is a passing criteria of 50%. Even if you fare, let's say in some modules, let's say in some of the internal assessment, you are not able to kind of score much, you can cover it up in the next part and see which were the areas where you did well, which are the areas which are areas of improvement. If a student fails to score 50%, resetting will be conducted. Resetting will consist of only the term and exam. Okay, so then you don't appear for the internal assessments. You have to kind of see if you can try it out the next time and then attend the term and assessment. Okay, so these are the details which I have from my side. Thank you guys for joining in. Let's open the floor for any question that you guys have. We have almost 5 to 10 minutes with us. So let's check about any questions. You can raise your hand, you can talk about it, or maybe you can post your queries in the Q&A or the chat. I'll be happy to answer. Okay. Any questions? I can see over here. We have Disha, Shruti, Naran. Anyone, any particular question, guys? Okay, there are a lot of people who are kind of streaming the session live on LinkedIn. So maybe you can leave the comments, and then probably our team will kind of go through them. If there are any questions which are unanswered, we'll kind of answer them. Just in case, if you wanted to get in touch with me for any query or any unanswered clarification, you can connect with me on LinkedIn over here. I've posted the link in the chat, or probably I'll also post my WhatsApp. Okay. So feel free to reach out on either of these numbers. This is the LinkedIn profile that I have. Okay. So thank you guys for joining in. And over here from my side and on behalf of Narsimunji, I wish you best of luck for the digital marketing programs and your careers going forward. Hoping forward to catch up with you in any of the live sessions. And even now, if you have any questions, please feel free to buzz. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you. So over here, this is Fabian. This is my LinkedIn profile. You can just buzz me on LinkedIn, just in case if you're comfortable to kind of discuss over there. Okay. All right, guys. So the presentation, I guess, is recorded. The session recording is also going to get available. So if you want, you can refer to the recording of the session for any part if you have missed as such. All right. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye. Take care. Okay, there's a question which is there. Let me just quickly touch base on that. Shruti saying, being a fresher, what kind of jobs should I look at from digital marketing perspective? Okay, that's a good question. I think a lot of people would be having a question like this. Now, I'll tell about this question, Shruti, from my experience perspective. Generally, let's say, suppose you don't have any kind of work experience and you want to start in the digital marketing domain. In that case, the easiest thing to pick up is on the industry side is an internship. Okay. In an internship, there are two areas which are generally available in most of the industries, maybe more than that also. One is content marketing. Second is handling the social media. These are two areas which generally freshers, when they want to enter without any marketing background or without any work experience, these are the two areas where you try to enter. Then you pick up the tools which the industry is using, and then you try to move in the interest of your own, let's say, career aspects or whatever thing is sounding to be interesting for you. Let me give you an example. I was working in the fintech sector, and I was looking forward to expand my team. So we were hiring people. We wanted people to just handle our Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram pages. Okay? The simple task would be, we need a person who would kind of be responsible, maybe not coming from a marketing background, that's fair. Maybe there are other team members to guide that person as a fresher, but this person should be able to at least learn about the tool through which we can do social media postings, and we can look at whether it is going in the right direction or not. Okay, so that's a very simple task that the intern started with. This was in Mumbai, and then this intern over a period of time became a social media marketing executive, then started picking up on the search engine marketing side. So we made him work on Google search engine and Yahoo. When he picked up and performed better on the tasks which were kind of regular tasks on the search engines or social media, we started enrolling him on paid marketing. How can you run paid ads? What kind of budget is required? How can you create the campaigns and so on and so forth? Okay. So roughly this period, which I explained to you, is a period of around 2 years to 3 years as a fresher. Okay. So initially, in most of the cases, if you're good with writing, for example, the easiest role these days to crack is a content writer or a content person itself. You will find that there are a lot of freelancers which are already there. This is where they make their entry. And the next thing that they do is pick up either search or social or anything else, and then start getting a better understanding for a particular industry in these areas, and then you grow. Probably social media is something that people pick up very easily, because these days all of you guys are already aware of how Facebook works, how LinkedIn works, how they are different. So there are some synergies over here which probably you can think about. Okay, so Shruti, I think that should answer your question. If not, just buzz me on LinkedIn, and if you want, we can have a call. All right, but I think this should help. Okay. There's also a question. Okay. Okay, another good question from Shruti. Brand or agency, what is a good option at the entry level? Either. Okay, so even if you get to work in an agency, fantastic. You get a lot of exposure in a marketing agency. I mean, there is a lot of pressure when you work in an agency, because there are a lot of clients to be handled. But in the process, the learning is quite good. And if you get a brand, then of course it's better off, because here maybe you will get slightly more time to learn about things, but maybe you will work on a bigger objective. Okay, so over here, the difference between working in an agency and working in a brand is going to be in terms of the pressure that you handle. In an agency, things are much more faster. In a brand, you're working on one aspect itself. In an agency, maybe you will be working on one aspect for multiple companies. So if it depends on you, if you're a fast learner as a fresher, then you should go for an agency. If you want to kind of groom yourself slowly, then probably you are hunting for a corporate side role. Okay, so that is what generally I've seen. If initially if you can spend some time in an agency, also a good agency, I think it helps with a lot of learning, by the way. And people can transition between agencies and the corporate part. It does happen. Okay. All right, thank you, Shruti, for your questions. I think that will be helping a lot of other people as well. And guys, feel free to buzz me at any point of time. Yeah, one last question. Let's take it from Shruti. Yeah, Shruti, please go ahead. You can type in the Q&A and I'll read it for everyone. Okay, let's take one quick question. What kind of salary should we expect as a fresher level? All right, so that's also kind of $1 million question. Now, when you're starting as a fresher, it depends on the kind of academic credentials you're coming from. Okay, some people will come without a certificate program, for example. Okay, in that case, you don't have anything to negotiate about. The corporate side will decide what kind of salary should be given to you. Maybe people start with, let's say, I'll talk about the Indian market, and specifically I'll talk about Mumbai as such. People start with as low as 5,000 rupees a month or 10,000 rupees a month. Even people work for free. Okay, the intern that I was talking about earlier, that person started for free of cost as an intern, worked for around 6 months free of cost. Then he started getting a salary of 10,000 per month. Currently, he's working for one of the edtech companies, Byju's probably, I guess, but probably now would be at a much higher salary at, let's say, 10,000 per month was the starting one, but now after 2 to 3 years would be at a decent salary, which probably you guys can expect from the industry perspective. Okay, so initially when you're joining as a fresher, the idea should be, can you get into a good brand? Okay, if you're going for a corporate side, can you get into a good brand? Secondly, can you get into maybe if you're working on the agency, what kind of clients you will get to work with? Even if you have to kind of slog for first 3 months, 6 months, that's fair enough. At least you're getting to crack something. Then you build your relationship, and then you start getting to go for the salary that you expect. Not everything will happen, let's say, in the first 6 months or 1 year. All right. So I think this is something which a realistic answer. It can also be that, sometimes we are good as a communicator, so we are able to negotiate also the concepts that we have learned. We are able to put them forward in a better way. And I think the more confident you are about the concepts, the more structure you have in your communications, I think then you can negotiate a higher salary than what I talked about. Okay, from the start, you don't have to work for free of cost in that case. Okay, so that is, I think these are 3 important questions. Thanks, Shruti, for bringing them up. And I think this is very close. For any other question, if you guys have, please feel free to buzz me on LinkedIn or WhatsApp, and I'll take it forward from there. Okay, thank you once again. Take care. Bye.